Today, we are going to talk about why you should not be a loner on the Leading Life podcast.
Welcome to Leading Life, the show all about living to the fullest and leading life on your terms.
You will learn tips, tools, and strategies for achieving total personal transformation.
I'm Bren.
And I'm Cam.
This is Leading Life. Hello, and welcome to another awesome, amazing, exciting episode of Leading Life. Had a crazy weekend, an amazing weekend, and we're back at it for Monday, which is basically like my favorite day of the week. So yeah, man, I'm feeling great, feeling amazing. Daya, how you doing back there? Okay, you guys don't need to see that. How you doing, Cameron?
Doing good, man. We just got done recording drum tracks at your house, which was fun, and now we're doing a podcast, which is also fun. So I got to pick the topic today, and I decided that I would talk about teaming up with people and how, you can get a lot of stuff done on your own, but how much more effective you are if you had 10 clones of you. Remember that quote, bro?
Yeah, 10 clones, like legit clones.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine you had 10 other people with the amount of drive that you have working towards the same goal as you. It's ridiculous what you can get done. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, man, I'm down. I'm ready. Let's do it. Well, first, why don't you tell me about your weekend? What'd you do?
Filmed a video. It was a really, really messed up video. I do comedy videos, and this one was ridiculous because we had basically this whole family has like each person has like a name that is pun. So like it was basically after Austin Powers, so they were called the Dick family. Like the video was called Meet the Dicks, and like you have Ophelia Dick, Eden Dick, Anita Dick, and the father's name is Seymour Dick. So yeah, it was a good video. Okay. I love making funny videos, so that was my weekend, man. It was awesome.
That's good, dude. That's good. I told myself, I think it was like Friday, I was like, man, I got to get this record done. I got to finish all these songs. And so I spent the whole weekend recording guitars, recording vocals, backup vocals, and we just did drum tracks earlier today. So yeah, man, I'm feeling great, like feeling on fire. Super productive weekend. I got myself when I'm done this podcast, I'm going to eat this delicious, healthy salad. So I'm just ready. Let's do this.
He's ready. Okay, cool, man. So for today, I want you to give me another example of this, but think of a time when you really had a big goal, but you're the only one that you knew who wanted it, who wanted to achieve this goal. So you're kind of working alone. It's almost like Brennan, man, being a solo artist. For the longest time, we were in a band, and we had 3 or 4 dudes, sometimes even 5 dudes, all working towards the same goal. Going on tour, playing shows, recording, writing, all that stuff, marketing the band and stuff like that. So it was a lot easier. But how is it, Brennan, being a solo artist? Like, do you still team up with people, or are you like the only person making your dreams come true here?
Man, it's interesting that you bring that up. It's interesting that we start this topic today because for a long time, I was working with other people. I was working with, different musicians, always trying to put together a team of people because like, it's true. You could get so much more done as a team than you can on your own. But kind of where I found my struggle, I guess, was finding a team of people who are really all committed towards the same vision. And so, being in a few different teams, or you could call them teams, you could call them groups, you could call them whatever, a few different relationships that didn't necessarily work. I grew this mentality that, okay, if you want something done, if you want it done properly, you want it done right, you have to do it yourself. And so for probably a year or 2 years, a good little while, I was just trying to do everything on my own. I was trying to do just because I knew how could I rely on other people if they keep on letting me down? And that's what my experience was, that, in the past I've had people let me down. So I just assumed in the future I'd have people let me down. And eventually I came to learn that you can't do everything on your own. It's funny because Andrew's here right now, and Andrew will tell you, like, when me and Andrew first started working together, she was doing a lot of my graphic design, just taking photography for me and doing a bunch of stuff like that. And I would try to do it all myself. And I'd send her like a copy of what I'd been working on. She's like, "This is terrible. This is just not good." And this, because I didn't know anything about graphic design, but like I wanted to do it myself, because in my past experience, it didn't matter who I worked with, it just wouldn't work out. Everybody would let me down. Um, Now I had to seriously overcome that belief system, in order to start some new teams with other people. And that's when I really started to find out that working with a team is the absolute best way to go. But, I'd say you have to make sure you're working for the right team, and make sure you're working together with the right people. Otherwise, yeah, it could turn into a disaster. if it, yeah.
Absolutely, man. And I realized like you also had you have Julie for songwriting. I'm helping you out with your music videos. Andrew's got your photography and your graphic design. And then you have just a whole host of fans helping you. So either way, even if you tried, you couldn't do it alone because you need those fans. You need whatever it is. Like you need customers, you need fans, you need clients, you just need people. You can't do anything alone in this world. I mean, like obviously you could be a guy who just wants to go to the forest and live alone with his dogs, but I mean like you, that's like the only exception.
That's the thing though, is like our evolutionary advantage is love. That's something I heard Tony Robbins say one time. Our evolutionary advantage is love. Our evolutionary advantages, we love each other. We get together, we group together, we create communities, societies, civilizations, families. That's what makes human beings so powerful, right? If it were just one human being out there in the wild screwing around in the forest, right, with maybe some dogs or something, or like a cat, right? It's just that one human being would be totally screwed. But as a pack, you know what I mean? As a team, as a tribe, 4 or 5 humans, that you could really leverage everybody's strengths, right? Like at Implicit, for example, when we first got together, we realized like my strength is in audio, music, and organizing and that kind of stuff. Cameron, your expertise, your strength was in videos, making videos. You also had an eye for visuals and designs. And Andrea, it's photography and her graphic design and all that stuff. And Julie, it was just like, what was Julie's title? Everything, right? But that's the thing is, as a team, it's not like everybody's the same person and everybody has the same strengths. It's different people with different strengths coming together, right? Like if we take the top, 10 CEOs of the planet and we put those top CEOs in a room and said, okay, guys, make the most amazing company in the world. They might be able to do it, but I'd argue they probably wouldn't be able to do it, just those 10, because the CEO of a company is nobody without every other person in that company to help make the thing run. So that's why it's so important. The CEO position, the leader position is important. But that's only one person out of the whole team, because that person has that strength of leading people, but that person might not have the strength that other people in the team, in the tribe, in the group, in the community, in the civilization, the society, whatever you want to call it, might have.
Absolutely, man. There's an unbelievable amount of good examples. Like you can look at a battlefield, like there's medics, there's people who go in and they fight. You can't heal people, you can't help people, like you can't be a nurse and be a warrior at the same time. On a film shoot, you can't hold the boom pole, hold 2 cameras, direct the actors, and be an actor at the same time. There's just an unbelievable... In a kitchen, like you can't run a restaurant in the kitchen. You can't be a chef without all your employees, without all the people in the kitchen helping you out, cut vegetables, wash dishes, do all this stuff. It's just unbelievable the amount of examples. So take that into your own context, like whatever you're doing with your life, look at it and see how far am I getting, and it might be because you don't have other people helping you. And honestly, like when I started to get back into my YouTube channel, I took like a day and a half just recruiting people, trying my best to like, who is the funniest person I know? I need to go talk to this person and get him to do videos with me. And I would just keep doing that. I would just message as many people as possible, and I got a team together and I made 4 videos this weekend, right? So it's just the matter of reaching out to people. You'd be surprised, because Swack is an example, man. I was in a YouTube channel with him 2 years ago or a year ago or something like that, and we both went our separate ways. I got back into YouTube, And I just thought, I was like, nah, Swack's not gonna want to do this. He's not. I didn't even care to message him. And then he messaged me saying, yo, I want to get back into YouTube. I was like, what? So like, you never know if someone is interested in your stuff. And if they're not, just realize like you don't want to take away anybody else's dream, you know? Make sure that the people on your team are totally in it, because otherwise they'll just kind of weigh you down a little bit, right? So that's just
Yeah,
my
man.
advice. What do you have, Brennan?
For sure, man. I'd say it starts with a if you're going to team up with anybody, it starts first off with self-awareness. Like you need to know what it is you're really good at. You need to know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, because if you're getting together with a team of people, like I said, you don't want to get together with the same people who have the same strengths as you do, because then it's just like an overpowering team. Like if you're to put like a hockey team, okay, we're just going to get an entire hockey team full of goalies. Okay, 20 goalies. It
20 of the
just
best goalies in the world. It doesn't even matter.
one of the best goalies, and no, it doesn't make sense. Because you need a defenseman, you need somebody to score the goals, you need a coach, you need a manager, you need all these other aspects. And so know what it is you do, and in your company, in your business, at work, in your sports team, in your family. What is it that you bring to the table that nobody else around you brings to the table, and figure what that strength is. And then you could use that strength also to persuade people, recruit people. Be like, look, man, say you have a strength, you're a goalie, you're really good at goalie, and you're trying to recruit this coach who's really good at coaching. Well, you say, look, coach, like I know you don't have a goalie right now, and I'm a really great goalie, and I don't have a coach right now, and you're a really great coach. If we team together, we could create an awesome team. But you first got to know what it is you're good at and what you're not good at. And that's definitely where it starts, man.
For sure, dude. I also think the purpose behind everything matters as well. Like if you have like a main objective for the group that you're creating, I don't know what it is. It could be a band, it could be a restaurant, it could be an army, like anything. Just create an objective, and what are you getting out of it? What is everybody getting out of it? Because it's going to be different for everybody. Like I may recruit a film crew for my YouTube channel, and one guy might say, I'm only in it for the money because I want to help my family or whatever. Another guy said, I'm only in it for the fame because I like being recognized. I like the ego boost. Another person might just be like, I just want to make people laugh. Like, that's why I'm here. When I make somebody laugh, I feel like I'm being useful. I feel like I'm doing something right. I'm raising their vibration. Everyone's going to have something different, but just write down a big list of benefits and just get everybody pumped. Make sure everybody's on the same level, man, because I know Brennan hates it, and so do I sometimes. Like, when you're up here and everybody else on the team is, like, down here, and you're just like, guys, come on, like, let's go, man. We're get excited.
Get on my level. Right? Get excited. You know what? It's interesting you say that, because we talk about having that purpose and having that vision. And one of the companies that did this better than I think any other company that I could think of, because they articulated it really well, is Apple. I mean, when Steve Jobs was running Apple, Steve Jobs, it's like what his whole job was, what his strength was he was the keeper of the vision. And so he had a vision for the company. He knew exactly what he wanted it to be. He knew exactly how he wanted the products to revolutionize technology. He had this vision. And anytime somebody in the company, had any questions or anything, the vision for Apple was so clear. He had articulated it so many times. He knew what he was going to say. People had heard him say it so many times that when people had questions, they didn't even have to go to Steve Jobs and ask him a question, because they knew, okay, the vision for the company is this. This is what Steve Jobs wants. This is what Apple wants as a company. That's our vision. And so you could basically create shortcuts to your outcome if you know what the vision is, because it's like, okay, well, we talk about this all the time. There's the what, the why, the how. The what is really important. You need to be super clear on what it is. That's the vision. The why, why we're here, why we do what we do. Like in Apple's example, it was, people with passion can change the world. That was kind of their vision. That was their belief system. And then the how didn't even matter. As long as we're revolutionizing technology, as long as we're, passionate about what we're doing and it's changing the world, then we're good. The how we do it exactly, whether it's a computer, whether it's an iPhone, whether it's a this, whether it's a that, it don't exactly matter. And so having somebody in your team or in your family or in your tribe or wherever, somebody being the keeper of the vision. So it's like, what do we do? Where are we going? Go to the person who's keeping the vision. Like, this is what I see. This is where we're going. This is, And that's kind of what I see for myself personally. Like I have a vision for what I want to do in the future. I have a vision for the kind of impact I want my business to make, and I want my career as a musician to make, and all these things. And so having somebody with that is huge. And that way it sets up the North Star for everybody on the team, the family, the tribe, the society, civilization, for everybody to work towards, for everybody to move towards. And so find that person in your group.
For sure, dude. I agree. Trying to think of examples of like paths that you wouldn't expect that you need people in. Trying to think. There's something out there. But even then, you can still talk to other people and see what they're doing and just become friends with them. Like if you're a solo artist and you literally do everything on your own, one-man band, then just go talk to other people doing the same thing as you and get advice from them and get motivation from them. Maybe they'll be a little bit further than you and that'll pump you up a little bit. Trying to think here. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. Well, we got some comments. I want to kind of get into the comment section here and acknowledge some of the people. Rachel, always hello. Hi, how's it going? Amanda, Andrea, Shelby's in here. Barbara's in here too. Barbara says she's alone. Barbara, please let us know what you mean by that. Maybe we could be your friend. I know maybe you need a friend. Shane the Train's in here. Ramana's in here. All right. So when it comes to being alone, this whole episode's called Don't Be a Loner. What would you say for people who feel alone? What would you say for people who are really like, they don't even know where to start? Like they're not necessarily in a business or maybe they don't necessarily have a very close family or team at work or anything, and they just feel alone. Where do we start to, get those people some friends?
Dude, honestly, this might sound just like everybody's same reaction, but work on yourself. Like focus on yourself a lot and try to like work on yourself, because I guarantee you can never work on yourself enough. Almost like there's always something to do to get better. Like even when you think you're vegan, you can still eat once a day and fast or whatever. Even when you think you drink a lot of water, go drink purified water. Like work out an extra 10 minutes a day, do meditation, yoga. There's so many practices that you can do every single day just to make yourself better. And once you start focusing on yourself, there's something called self-love, and it'll completely take you out of any loneliness. Like I didn't even get lonely once in the past 2 years because I was just so focused on myself. Like in my early journey, as Infinite Waters would say, when I first began like reading books and all that stuff, I didn't talk to any of my friends. I didn't have many friends. I was just so focused on myself. And I literally fell in love with myself. Like I was just pure self-love, like really loving who you are and enjoying spending time with yourself. And at that point, you're not alone. You're with yourself. Like you're with a friend, which is you. Sounds really lame, but it's amazing.
It doesn't though, dude, because when you have that kind of love for yourself, when you have that kind of self-esteem, that kind of energy, anytime you get around people, it's infectious. And those people around you, they'll become attracted to you just because you're attracted to yourself. Do you know what I mean? They become attracted because you're so into yourself. You're so full of yourself that you have plenty to give. You're so full of yourself that it's overflowing and it's affecting everybody else around you. And that's what happens. That's why you see, like, when you see people you see celebrities, for example, it's like you don't even know what it is about them half the time. It's like they just have this energy about them, this smile, this aura, it's basically, it's just them really caring for and taking care of themselves to the point where it inspires everybody around them. That's so huge. And if you're feeling alone, the only possible reason you could be feeling alone is because you're not comfortable or at peace with yourself. That's it. Like if you're alone and there's other people there, you could still feel alone if you're not comfortable and at peace with yourself. And so that's where it starts 100%. And that's why, like I said, in terms of building a team even, or building a family or whatever, know what it is that you have to offer, have the self-awareness to know who you are. And not only know who you are, you have to like love who you are. There's this thing that I've been battling with ever since I started this personal development journey. I've been battling with the paradox between self-acceptance and self-growth. The paradox between like, okay, I love myself exactly as I am. I'm perfect. All my flaws, everything. I love me. It's okay. I'm perfect. Like we're good. Okay. I love myself. And then I'm battling with that. And then on the completely other side of the spectrum, it's like, okay, no, I'm not good enough. I know I could do better here. I know that I could fulfill more of my potential. I know that I could be stronger, healthier, faster, smarter, more caring, more loving. Like, and it's such an interesting paradox, because it's like, you have to find yourself somewhere in the middle where it's like, okay, I love myself and accept myself exactly as I am, but I'm not going to settle for that. I'm not going to settle for only the way that I am, the way I look, the way I feel, the value I have to add to other people, the way I make other people around me feel. You really have to find that balance between self-acceptance and self-growth. And you'll never feel lonely, man. It's amazing.
For sure. And I guess by don't be a loner, I just mean like when you have a goal, find other people and become friends with them. Be like, you don't have to work with them, just be friends with them. My buddy Jess Jones, shout out to Jess Jones. He probably will never watch this. He's a YouTube gamer, comedy guy. He does vlogs on his channel and stuff like that. But I met him 2 years ago, and ever since we became huge friends. We've live streamed together hours and like upon hours a night. And I'm about to go into a Skype call with him right after this also. And this guy, man, he's the only person I know and that I'm friends with who is like an eager filmmaker, like really just wants to create stuff that looks good, stuff that makes people laugh, and stuff that is just like something to be proud of in cinematography. And he's the only other person I know who does that. But the fact that I know him makes me feel not alone. You know, like usually you'd feel like, oh man, nobody understands me. But I can always go to Jess, man. We can share tips. He'd tell me how he did this. I would tell him how I did that. And it's so amazing and so valuable to have that kind of friendship, even if it's online. The guy lives in Texas and we're still sharing stuff. So the internet is amazing, and it's giving us a chance to actually be able like to speak to people and have this podcast live on the internet with all these comments and stuff like that.
You know, Romana Maria, she brought up something interesting here. She says, what if you're confident, at peace with yourself, and enjoy being by yourself, but still feel lonely? Do you have anything to add to that, Cam?
I would say everybody needs human interaction. Everybody needs a hug. Everybody needs to like cuddle every now and then. It's a thing. It's like human beings. It's what we do. We enjoy interaction. There's actually a really good movie, and I suggest you guys watch it. The movie's so slow, and there's not a lot of dialogue, and there's a lot of cool background music, and it gives you time to think while you're watching it. It's called Love. It's made by Angels and Airwaves, the band. And basically this guy gets trapped in space. He's not trapped, sorry. He was an astronaut. He went to a space station or whatever, and all communication with Earth was disconnected. He had no more, he was like, he could not talk to anyone. Nobody told him if the mission is whatever, or if all humans on Earth are dead, or if, you know, there was an apocalypse. He doesn't know. He knows nothing. He misses his family and all that stuff. And eventually, there was psychologists and stuff interviewed in the middle of the movie too, talking about how human beings need interaction, and like without it we can literally go insane. And it just goes to show that it doesn't matter how confident, at peace with yourself you are, you need to speak to people. You need to talk to people. If you've seen that Tom Hanks movie, what's it called? Tom Hanks? Is it like Castaway? Is that what it's called? Something like that?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I think...
Tom Hanks had a movie where he literally made a beach ball, like gave it hair or something. I forget. I've seen it a long time ago. But he just like talks to this beach ball like it's his best friend, right? You need that no matter what. And internet is allowing so much. Obviously, you can't like reach out and touch the person. I can't touch my brother right now, but body language, like you can see how I'm talking. You can hear the expression of my voice. This is like 90% of communication right here, man. So if you are lonely, man, get some friends online. There are so many forums. Like if you're into video games, there's forums for that. If you're into meditating, if you're into knitting, if you're into crystals, like you could just go make friends with people. There's forums, there's groups, there's hashtags, there's trends you could go follow. The potential of friends you could have on the internet is ridiculous. When it comes to physical interaction, I mean, obviously at some point everybody's got to have that intimate relationship where they feel those like intense feelings of love. But, you know, that's just my take on it. What do you think, bro?
Man, like we already touched on this a bunch before. Like it definitely starts with yourself. You definitely have to find that peace with yourself, that confidence in yourself, that love for yourself. being able to just spend days, weeks, hours and hours and hours and hours alone with yourself and be happy about it. Like, be comfortable, obviously you're going to miss people to a certain extent because we are social creatures. Just like Carlos said here in the comments, we're social creatures. Like, that's why we survived as a species, because we came together in civilizations. We came together in groups. We have that need, like a literal need for people. Like a baby, a child, a newborn child will not live for past a week, past a month, unless it's loved, unless it's held by its mother or by a caretaker, by somebody. And so obviously we have a need for people. But you can't, how do I say this without, it's so important to have that peace with yourself, because there might not always be people there. There just won't be. Like, you might get sad sometime, and you can't rely on your mom, your sister, your brother, your friend. You can't rely on that person to come around and make you feel better. You can't rely on other people. You can't be dependent on other people, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is finding that independence that for yourself is going to be so liberating. It's hard to feel lonely when you don't have to depend on anybody, right? I mean, sure, you're going to miss people, but you don't need people. Do you know what I'm saying? And finding that independence with yourself, for yourself, is it's gonna free you so much, man. Like, when I found this for myself, for example, I'm pretty sure I spent like a good 2-3 months. I didn't even hang out with any friends. I barely talked to my family. I barely talked to my brother. I was just alone. Like, I was just alone because I was so into myself. It was like, for the first time in so long, all I wanted to do was spend time with me and get to know me. It was like, for the first time in like probably since I was a young child, I was my best friend. I was so interested in what I had to think or what I had to say or what I could learn or what I could do, that like I didn't even care about seeing people because I was so just into myself. I still loved my family, still loved my brother. I still wanted to see people, but it just didn't matter to me. It did not matter to me as much as just spending that time alone with myself mattered. And when you could find that and you have that kind of relationship with yourself, lonely takes on a different meaning. Lonely from people, sure, maybe, I miss people sometimes. Like, if I sit in my house for a week and I just work, I mean, eventually I'm going to miss people, sure. But I don't need people to feel happy. I don't need people to feel loved. I don't need people to feel important or significant. I could give myself all those feelings. And that's where the freedom comes from. So find that for yourself. I mean, look, and it's different for everybody, because you got extroverts and introverts, right? Me, I'm somewhere right in the middle between introvert and extrovert, a little more on the extroverted side. I like getting online and doing this podcast on Facebook Live. I love getting up on stage. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. I love relationships and that kind of thing. But damn, like, I love my alone time. The alone time where I could just sit alone in creativity, this time I could sit alone to learn, the time I could sit alone to contemplate or just sleep in, or like just time for myself, right? And I feel like we live in a society today where there's so many people who don't give themselves that time for themselves, and they just become dependent on always being around people. They become dependent of like always needing family there, or coworkers, or friends, whatever it is. And I'm saying this because for a long time I felt like that. I felt like I couldn't go like 2-3 days without hanging out with my buddies. Like, that's weird. I couldn't go 2 or 3 days without inviting a friend over to play video games, because like I was just avoiding that alone time with myself, because I didn't even want to know who I was. I didn't even want to know what was going on in my head or what I was capable of. So that's kind of what I mean by that.
Yeah, dude. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up at this point. I'm gonna roll the outro. Well, no, I'm gonna roll the outro music in a minute. I just want to say one more thing. When you feel lonely, maybe focusing on yourself isn't so exciting. Start focusing on a project or like a career path or whatever. Like, focus on your business. And like, if you're in love with your business, if you really enjoy what you're doing, then that will take you out of loneliness instantly. I know, like, Brennan, man, like, focus on your music. Were you lonely this weekend? You're focusing on your music like all night, all day. Like, you were just like playing music and you were focused on that. So I mean, like,
You're totally right.
What's that?
You're totally right, man. Find something that excites you. Like, this weekend I spent pretty much the whole weekend alone focusing on my music, and felt great. And I mean, focused on yourself doesn't necessarily mean you're just staring at yourself in a mirror. Like, that could be a practice. That could be super beneficial. But I mean more like, find something that you love to do, something that you love to learn. Maybe you're super interested in, health, and you want to get healthier. And so you take some time to research, read books on health, and go exercise and eat better food. Or maybe you're super interested in music, so you take some time for yourself to just sit there and learn the music and get into the music and write some music or something. So time focused on yourself doesn't have to be necessarily time staring at yourself or thinking about yourself or feeling yourself. It could be time where you spend doing something you love or something that helps you grow as a person, right? And
Absolutely.
There's something I want to talk about. We'll get into it next time. Carlos said something, what if you're emotionally lonely? So how do you cope with not being able to find a significant other? So that's another thing that we could talk about in a future episode, that a lot of people deal with, is loneliness in an intimate sense, wanting to find another person, a partner, a lover, soulmate, whatever. So that's definitely something we could get into for the future.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so let's wrap it up. I'm gonna play the outro now, if it'll load. And I hope you enjoyed this episode of Leading Life. For those people who are commenting, Romana, Andrea, Jake, Shelby, Carlos, ASIC, always ASIC, Barbara, Amanda gave us a bunch of likes early in the episode. That was cool. Shane Train, all these people, thank you guys for tuning in, seriously. And if you guys enjoyed it, just give it a like and share it on your page if you can. It'll help get the podcast out to more people. What do you have to say, brother?
Yeah, man, you said it. I love you.
All right, goodbye.
That's it.